Today we'll discuss why proton pump inhibitors should be administered 30 minutes before meal. We know that these proton pump inhibitors or PPI, proton pump inhibitors like Omeprazole, Rabeprazole, Pantoprazole, Isomeprazole, all these proton pump inhibitors, they are all administered 30 minutes before meal or half an hour before meal. So what is the reason, what is the rationale behind that? So for that we should know proton pump inhibitors are the prodrugs which require acidic environment for their activation. Proton pump inhibitors are prodrugs. Means these drugs are in inactive form and they will get activated after metabolism. These are all these drugs, proton pump inhibitors. They are prodrugs. That means initially they are in an inactive form and they will get activated after metabolism, and for their activation they require acidic environment, right? Now proton pump inhibitors, they will get activated, or the active form is the sulfenamide. The active form is sulfenamide, and for this active form they need acidic medium. They need acidic medium. Now this sulfenamide, which is the active form of the all proton pump inhibitors, they inhibit the proton pump, or they inhibit the final common pathway for the acid secretion. They inhibit hydrogen potassium ATPase. They inhibit this enzyme, they inhibit this proton pump irreversibly, and that's how they suppress the acid secretion. That's how they suppress the acid secretion. How come they suppress the acid secretion? By inhibiting proton pump irreversibly, which is the final common pathway for the acid secretion, or they inhibit the hydrogen potassium ATPase enzyme. But after getting activated, an activated form of the proton pump inhibitors are the sulfenamide. Once they get absorbed into the systemic circulation, once they will get absorbed into the systemic circulation, they diffuse into the parietal cells canaliculi. When they diffuse into the parietal cells canaliculi, they will get converted to its active sulfonamide molecules, right? Proton pump inhibitors given 30 minutes before meal because food stimulate the acid secretion. We know that whenever we take food, it will stimulate the gastric acid secretion or HCl secretion, which is required for the digestion. So when food stimulate acid secretion, acidic pH in the parietal cells canaliculi, right? When food stimulates acid secretion, acidic pH in the parietal cell canaliculi, and all these drugs will get activated because of its acidic pH in the parietal cells. Food stimulates proton pump and absorption and secretion. Why they need 30 minutes? Because absorption and secretion of proton pump inhibitors in parietal cells takes at least 30 minutes. For absorption and secretion of proton pump inhibitors in parietal cells takes 30 minutes, and that's why proton pump inhibitors given 30 minutes before meal, and that's how they are more efficacious. The efficacy is increased. But when you give after meal, proton pump inhibitors are given after meal because food decreases the absorption, and they are not preferred after meal. They are not preferred after meal, they are preferred before meal, at least 30 minutes before meal, because absorption and secretion of proton pump inhibitors in parietal cells takes at least 30 minutes.